Let's find somebody else to fill our lime green sofa. Please welcome our Manchester United fan, the wonderful Mark. Give him a big hand. Come on, Mark. How you doing, buddy?
Good,
Take a seat. Lovely to speak to you in person for the first time.
Yeah, I've been stuck on there.
I know we've spoken on Skype. I think it was about a week ago.
Yep.
Just remind us, of course, the website or the. It is a website.
YouTube is
channel.
our big thing. So the United Stand on YouTube, nice and easy.
It's Mark from United Stand. Let's have another round of applause. Nice and easy to remember. How you feeling, buddy?
Good. Top of the league, not quite.
Not quite.
Goal difference doesn't mean anything at this time of the year.
Of course.
And yeah, good. Very positive.
You haven't lost yet. You're on fire. You've obviously got Mourinho as your new manager. You beat Hull 1-0 at the weekends. And that man, or that boy, Rashford, scores for you. How excited are you about him?
More than Big Sam is, obviously, because he's not even in his England squad.
I know, bizarre.
Ridiculous.
Why not? Right, let's go straight in with that.
He said today that he's not in the England squad because he needs to play more games. But Joe Hart,
yeah,
Chris Smalling, Daniel Sturridge not playing games, so he's contradicted himself straight away.
I mean,
he should be in the squad. He was 5 minutes in the Euros, best player in the Euros.
Absolutely.
Comes on for United, 20 minutes, best player on a pitch. He's a sensational player. For me, it's controversial, but I think he's the best striker in England at the moment. But we see him regularly. I think he's fantastic. And we've always played young players, Rooney, Owen, from a young age.
Absolutely.
Why are we not doing it with Rashford?
It's a very good question, and if you'd like to get involved on that debate, why on earth hasn't new England manager Sam Allardyce selected Rashford for the England squad, his first England squad? If you'd like to wade in on that subject, you can Skype us, Fan TV channel, you can tweet us at FanTVUK, hashtag FanTV. Let's stick with that for a minute, because he's, you know, for any football fan, he is an amazing talent. He's the most exciting talent, I think, in England at the moment. He is playing, I think, for the under-21s against Norway, I think.
He may as well be playing against Iceland, you know, and I don't mean the country, I mean the shop. I mean, under-21 football, he's better than that. I mean, you said he's the better player. I mean, obviously a United fan, but we are proud of our youth. We've been brilliant with our youth, class of 92. But in all honesty, we probably haven't had a standout youth player for around 20 years. You've had the likes of Fletcher, O'Shea come through. Yeah. This is a youth product who, for me, and a lot of United fans, he will go on to be the big shining light of English football.
You think so?
Yeah, definitely. He's got the lot. He can finish, he can run at people, he's skillful, he's fast, powerful, he's still growing. I really do. If he was at another club, I would be looking at him going, I'm a bit worried. He is really the real deal.
Is it troubling that Allardyce hasn't selected him? Is this like a worrying start for England fans, the fact that Allardyce hasn't seen what everyone else has seen? And well, of course he's seen it, but he clearly doesn't think that it warrants a call-up at this stage. Should we be worried about that as England fans?
I'm not a big fan of Sam Allardyce as England manager anyway. You know, he had one big job at Newcastle, he got the sack. He's battled with relegation most of his career. He's a long ball manager and he's done nothing in Europe. He doesn't tick any box for me. So the fact that he doesn't grasp what Marcus Rashford is doesn't surprise me. As an Englishman who wants England to do well, it is concerning. But I would rather Rashford was just stuck back in Manchester training with Zlatan Ibrahimovic, because that's better for him over the next fortnight than being stuck in the under-21s. He's better than that.
He's going to learn an awful lot from Zlatan, of course.
Yeah.
Just briefly, before we talk specifically about Manchester United, who would you have liked to have seen get the England manager's job?
Ooh,
I wanted Klinsmann for what it's worth.
Well, you words out of my mouth. I mean, it would. If you want to stay English, I would have gone Glenn Hoddle. I know there's controversy.
Really?
Yeah, I think I liked him as manager in around '98. It was '98, wasn't he? He said things he shouldn't have done. Yeah. However, as a tactician, he's played in Europe. I would have gone Hoddle. If I was going foreign, I would have gone Jurgen Klinsmann. He's done wonders in America.
Absolutely.
He was the obvious choice. Sam Allardyce, I thought, was a bad joke when I saw it on Twitter.
Really?
And I think it's been the year of bad jokes, but he's the cherry on the cake when it comes to football. Awful.
The cherry on the cake of bad jokes, not my words, Mark from United Stand's words regarding new England manager Sam Allardyce, who hasn't selected Manchester United's Marcus Rashford. It seems to me, to you, Mark, a crazy decision based on what we're all seeing, Man United fans or non-Manchester United fans. If you have an opinion on that, we'd love to hear from you at Fan TV UK or Skype call us. Fan TV channel is the Skype. Nige, let's do what? Let's bring in our Man City fan, the lovely, my mate Nige. Come on to the lime green sofa, Nige. You lovely man. How you doing?
Good to see you. Very good. Very good.
Man City fan, shaking hands with a Manchester United fan. Will you be shaking hands come September 10th, Nige?
Well, I'll tell you, the reason I've shaken his hand is this is the closest I've come to a Manchester United fan from Manchester. He's from Birmingham. So he, you know... They're from Kent, they're from Surrey, they're from the Far East, they're from Dublin. This man, give him some credit, is from Birmingham. He's fairly close, Justin.
It's a good point, Nige, but to be fair, let's bring some balance. You don't sound Mancunian.
Born and bred, sir, as you very well know.
Well, that is true. I do know this. I still remember that.
They've got all this to come anyway, the old mercenaries at City. You're buying your players, you'll be buying your fans. It's the way it works. Global...
Can I have a translation?
Fireworks.
So this strong Birmingham accent I'm finding very, very difficult to understand. Sorry.
Oh, loving it.
Fireworks on the lime green sofa already. I absolutely love it. Will we be seeing those same fireworks come September 10th? It's going to be a massive game, Nige.
It's going to be a big game, but as we all know, that this is the past and this is the now and the future, as we know. They've had their success. They've got a second-rate manager now, sort of comes with a sort of health warning. We've got the best manager on the planet. He's building an amazing team. There were times during the first half against West Ham where we were unbelievable. We played some fantastic... It was just such a joy and a pleasure to watch.
Mark, you can't disagree with that, can you?
I can. I mean, the only thing old about Manchester United is this top I'm wearing, which I think is a bit retro, but we're very much back in the present. We've had a bad 3 years. It's interesting, I will be fair. We were talking just before we came out that I do think that it is about Manchester United, Man City, but I think it will become about Jose v Pep, which, as fans, we were sort of agreeing, weren't we, that we don't want that really. We want it to be about our clubs. We're happy with the managers we've got, but it's got to be about the clubs. It's got to be about that rivalry. But it's going to be built up. It will be Jose v Pep, and that's going to be the needle all the season, I think.
Yeah, it's sort of inevitable, really. That's how it's being built up that way, sort of 3 games in. But I was reading some stuff about Manchester City today. And here's the question, in all honesty, do you think we're looking at a Manchester City side that can dominate for a period of time as Manchester United have done, as Liverpool did before them?
No.
Yes.
I think it's difficult. It's so difficult to do it. I mean, if they can, I'll hate it. And if we can, I'll applaud it. I think it's going to be so difficult because I don't think when we had Sir Alex, who was the best manager there's ever been in sport, you've got Wenger, no spine. There was no, people would try and they get knocked down. I think it depends how long they're going to be there, these two managers, but they're going to go at each other season after season. If one wins it, the other team's going to come back stronger. I think it is that. I really do feel there is that underbelly of
To be sensible for a second, Justin, only for a second though.
Yeah.
City, the way the club is now being set up with the investment, the long-term investment, in the infrastructure, in the whole of East Manchester, the women's team, the youth side. The youth side put 7 past Liverpool the other day. Yeah. They're really building this up. And joking apart, Pep is undoubtedly the best manager on the planet. That's well documented. We know that. And
Factually not.
And the football that we're just ignore it. The football that we are playing. Imagine when we start putting that together for 90 minutes. It is such an exciting time.
Let me just ask Nigel before it comes to you, Mark. Nige, you can't even call it a challenge. It wasn't a challenge. We could all see it. It's bad by anyone's estimation. The issue is the referee was right in front of it. How on earth did Aguero remain on the pitch?
Well, he didn't see it, did he? I mean, that's clear. And as Joe's already said, I'm not quite sure how Andre Marina didn't see it. He was 5 yards away.
5 yards away?
Yeah, absolutely. And
how can you not see it?
But, I suppose, the ball was... Referees have got to look at so many other things, haven't they? He's got, the assistants talking in his ear. He's looking at offsides. He's looking at what's happening off the ball elsewhere. The ball was in the air. He clearly missed it. And I think if he had, I do agree with Joe. I think if he had seen it, I think it would have been a straight red. I'm a City fan. I love Aguero, but at the end of the day, it was a naughty challenge.
You just quickly on Kelechi. Seriously, you don't rate him? You don't think he's anywhere near as good as Rashford?
I really haven't seen much of him.
Really?
No, I don't watch City.
Well, then let's go back to Aguero because I'm sure you were praying for this, were you not? It's a massive loss for them.
I think, first of all, in fairness to the referee, nobody sees much at the Etihad because no one ever goes, so you can't really blame him about that.
Fireworks.
Secondly, in relation to Fellaini, I'd happily get him suspended. So, if you've got any evidence, send it in, although he has been quite good this year. But Schweinsteiger got banned around this time last year for a very similar thing. So, I do agree about Costa. I totally agree about him. But I think Aguero probably realised he was going to have to play Eric Bailly and thought, I'll do something out of character and I'll throw an elbow.
It was out of character for him, that is fair to say, but shocking challenge nonetheless. It's about Rooney, because there's been a lot of talk on this sofa about Rooney being shot, Rooney being past it. He's not been the player that he was for like the last 4 years, and even fans on Lime Green Sofa saying they would be happy to see Wayne Rooney go. But he certainly had a good game for you, didn't he?
Yeah, that's why I moved around a bit there, because it's always a controversial thing with United fans. He's announced today that he wants to play for England for another couple of years.
Yeah.
That worried me. I don't think he's got 2 years left in him.
Okay.
I think he's on a very steep decline. I've not been his biggest fan. He is on a decline, I'm sorry to say, but he's been playing since he was 16. He's 30, 31 now. He's never had a bad injury. I think he's equivalent of a 35-year-old, really, for all the running he's done. But he won us that game on Saturday. He won us the game. He didn't have a very good game. Maybe if somebody had come on for him, we might have won it 2 or 3-0. But he won us the game.
He got the assist as well, didn't he?
Yeah. That's what I mean. It ran past the player, perfect cross through the legs, tap in for Rashford. He did win us the game. It's a difficult one, but I do think he's on the decline. But no manager will drop him. No manager will drop him.
Because his name's just too big.
I just think I don't understand it in relation to United. I do with England, but it just seems to be some reason they won't drop him. There's conspiracies that it's in his contract that he can't be dropped.
Yeah.
He's deserved to be dropped at times over the last 2 years. I've never seen him play better than a 7 out of 10 more than a couple of times in 2 years, which for a captain, a £300,000 a week player, England's best, it's not good enough.
But if what you're saying is true, if there's a manager brave enough to drop the likes of Wayne Rooney, it's going to be Mourinho.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's not going to be dropped. He isn't going to be dropped at the moment. I know there's a good percentage of United fans who would like to see him be dropped. I don't think we're at that stage yet, but I'm not convinced he can get back to what we've been waiting for probably 18 months, which is the Rooney that we've known over the last decade. He's been fantastic, but
you think that's gone?
Few and far between, yeah. And that's the honest truth. I know it will upset people, but it is the truth.
Let's briefly mention as well Manchester United, because Jose Mourinho has managed to achieve something that Alex Ferguson couldn't manage. No other Manchester United manager has managed. He's won his first 4 games for the club, and that is a first, Mark, is it not? Correct me if I'm wrong.
It is, yeah, because the Community Shield is counted as a competitive game.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep saying this, Jose Mourinho will break down a game and a season game by game, and he'll look at things like Hull, which he did at the weekend, and he'll go, 1 point out of that is 2 points dropped. We've got to win that. And we went for it. Previous manager wouldn't have done it. So I think the start to the season, like City's, hasn't really been as challenging as it could be. That's going to change in a fortnight's time, just under. But it's a good start. I think, again, we were talking before we came on air, 9 points from the first 3 games for new managers taking over regimes that have failed. You can't underestimate that, really. It's been really, really good.
He kept faith, of course, in the side that beat Southampton. I don't think he made any changes at all. The same starting 11, no changes. No. Did that surprise you in any way?
The one player I would like to come in is Mkhitaryan. It's his signing. Fantastic player, gets lots of goals, lots of assists. He came into the club, Jose, saying, I don't want to do square pegs in round holes. I want specialists. But then he picks Mata on the right midfield. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Mata, but probably should have the Rooney position, and Rooney shouldn't be there. Mkhitaryan on the right. Fellaini's a player that I've consistently been very opposed to. He always gets himself injured around transfer deadline day, so he can't be sold. He's got it. Typical clumsy Fellaini. He's got himself injured, and actually we need him.
Done his back, I think.
Yeah, we need him.
I know you're not a fan of Fellaini. You've mentioned that on the Skype to me before, but even Fellaini had a good game.
He's doing well this season. I think statistically, most passes, most tackles for a defensive midfielder. Pep's getting a lot of credit for what he's done with Sterling. I think what Jose's done with Fellaini is biblical. It is amazing.
What has he done? What do you put it down to?
With someone like Fellaini, who's a limited footballer, he's just doing the simple things. He's telling him to break up the ball, break up the play, and keep your passes between 5 and 10 yards and feed the better players. And you know what? Sometimes you need that sort of player in a team. And he's done it really, really well. Also, I think what he's done is protecting Daley Blind, because Daley Blind's not the quickest. You pick a tall man, a defensive midfielder, teams can't play the high ball, and he's winning a lot of those as well.
Just so as we sit here now, you're faced with a derby game on Saturday the 10th, without Aguero, it looks like, because he's on a disciplinary, and without your new goalie in the shape of Bravo. So that has to be inspiring for you, Mark.
Yeah, I just want to say about Joe Hart as well, there is a positive. There's 28,000 aggregate capacity at Torino, so at least he'll get to play in front of a big crowd every week.
Fireworks, fireworks.
I think United are going to win. I think United are going to win. I would have said probably 1-0. I think without Aguero, well, he doesn't play centre-back, does he? So I can't really knock it up to 4-0. But I think it'll be a tight game. I think City have been playing quite well. And I think United are sort of moving through the gears. But one thing Jose can do, and United fans might not want to hear it, is he can shut a game down if he wants to. And I think he probably will try and keep it very tight at Old Trafford. The one thing we've got, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that we're a very tall physical side, and I don't think City really are. You might have one or two, but I think about the likes of John Stones if he's fit, and I think about Zlatan, and the word men against boys comes to mind. I mean, he's been bullying the likes of Wes Morgan and Fonte, who are very, very good centre-backs. So I think that if we can get balls into the box from the width, that will cause City problems. But I expect us to win. I do. I think it will be tight, but I think we'll win.